Come on in. Welcome to Idled Out, where we talk all things Survivor. My name is Luke, and today we're talking about what I think we should be able to vote on for Survivor 50. In case you've been living in a spy bunker, key elements of Survivor 50 will be decided by fans, and we'll be able to vote all throughout Survivor 48 for what we want to see in Survivor 50. We've already cast our votes for the first four elements of Survivor 50: tribe colors, rice or no rice, whether Final Four firemaking should stay or go, and whether there should be a live reunion in LA or the Fiji after show. But what else should we be able to vote on? Today, I want to throw my hat in the ring for which elements of Survivor 50 I want to vote for. I want to keep this realistic, so things that have been explicitly squashed by Jeff in interviews, like whether the game should go back to 39 days, won't be on the menu. My list will be aspirational, but based in reality. Which elements of Survivor 50 should we, the fans, get to vote on? Here's what I think, but afterwards, let me know in the comments what else you want to see on the ballot. At number 5 is the return of classic challenges and advantages from Survivor history. This seems like a borderline guarantee to me, but I'd love for them to put a handful of classic challenges and advantages up for a vote and re-implement the winner into the season. Shameless promotion time, but I actually have videos on both of these subjects, old challenges and old twists and advantages I want to come back, so go check those out if you want. But as far as challenges, these would have to be really iconic past challenges that almost everyone remembers, while also being extremely easy to build quickly and efficiently, since Survivor 50 is well into pre-production. So I'm going to alter my list a little. Let's see the early season classic Mud Pack, the absolutely brutal Teens era showdown Hot Pursuit, Survivor's greasiest and horniest challenge Slip, Slide, and Score, and just because I'm a masochist, Piranha Feast. I know I actually said this should never return, but fuck it. Oral herpes for all.
Yeah, we're all gonna have pig gut breakouts tomorrow on our skin.
We're probably also all gonna have oral herpes.
Then, as far as advantages, let's go with one of my recent faves and see the Choose Your Champion advantage from Survivor 43, the underutilized challenge disadvantage as seen in Survivor Edge of Extinction, safety without power because just piecing out at Tribal Council is funny, and finally, Cochrane on a boat. Or like the Legacy advantage or something, whichever's easier to implement. Personally, I'd be pretty surprised if we don't get to vote on challenges or advantages in at least some form, and I'd love to conclude the voting on finale night with us being able to vote on the final immunity challenge as well. Let's go with some all-timers. Give me some motion, because you know it'll be there. Give me vertically challenged, and yes, give me hands on a hard idol. As for my vote, I'm writing in the Thailand torture simulator. At number 4 is the logo for the season. On Twitter, Survivor journalist Dalton Ross said that this is the final logo for the season, and I simply refuse to believe it. To me, this very much looks like a logo slapped together for some quick and easy branding on the voting page, a la the logo used during Survivor Cambodia's fan voting. I mean, there's frankly no freaking way they put more effort into the Survivor Yellow Jackets logo than the Survivor 50 logo. So, working off the assumption that this logo is in fact a voting placeholder, I'd love it if fans were able to vote on the actual logo of the season. I think this would be such a fun way for fans to personalize Survivor 50. The logo is a representation of the season itself. It's seen in every episode, it's on every buff, it's on the set dressing, and seeing the logo we chose would reinforce the idea that this truly was a season designed by fans for fans. Give us a few options. Maybe a more simplistic logo harkening back to the logos of the first 8 seasons, with simple color palettes and 1 or 2 main design elements. This could be similar to the, I assume, temporary logo seen here. Give us another logo with a more modern look, pleasing to the eye, but busier and full of little details. And finally, give us a heroes versus villains style logo with the silhouettes of each member of the cast baked right into it. We just voted on tribe colors. These buffs haven't even been printed yet. Let's do this. At number 3 is letting us vote on whether the players should get their swimsuits or not. Before I get accused of being in favor of women's health being left up to an online vote, let's start with the premise that I think swimsuits should come back regardless, and that a vote on Survivor 50 is probably the only way we'll get them back in the near future. Anyway, up until Survivor's mid-30s, Survivor players received their swimsuits, typically on day 1 or as a reward for making the merge. But in 2018, Survivor stopped giving players their swimsuits entirely, forcing players to play the entire game in the underwear they started it in. While Survivor's gotten much better in the new era about giving players more clothing, swimsuits have still not returned. I understand where they're coming from. Forcing players to wear their dirty clothes the whole game reinforces the whole stranded on a desert island idea, but not letting players have their swimsuits comes with a number of health issues for women. And beyond that, I'm just not sure who out there really cares about players not getting their swimsuits. Some of Survivor's most iconic looks have been swimsuits, foreign versions still give players their swimsuits, and it's just safer overall. My desert island immersion is not upset by the presence of swimsuits. Now, sometimes my eyes are. That may be the ugliest swimsuit of all time. But my immersion is not. I'd obviously prefer that swimsuits just come back regardless. But if production thinks that no swimsuits is such a crucial element to the game's realism, let's put it to a fan vote. Somehow, I'm doubting Survivor fans will vote for fewer bikinis. At number 2 is for us to be able to vote on whether there are 2 tribes or 3 tribes. It may be simple, but I think most fans would really welcome the return of the original 2-tribe format. And I think moving forward, most fans would prefer a mix of 2 tribes and 3 tribes. Look, Survivor, I get it. 18 players is the sweet spot. And 18 players split into 2 tribes of 9 inherently leaves a gender imbalance. And I think they're understandably hesitant about potential online backlash over a possible built-in 5-person all-male alliance. But firstly, let's consider all the successful alliances built primarily on their shared male gender, and how successful they were. There's, I
have you guys know I'm completely bumfuzzled right now.
Their other concern, as I understand it, is that bigger tribes give weaker players places to hide, which is true. And smaller tribes come with other production side advantages like making editing and storytelling easier. But I do think this is something fans are really clamoring for. Here's the thing, from Survivor Fiji to Survivor One World, seasons 14 to 24, we had 2 starting tribes, the longest stretch of a single initial tribe format in Survivor history. This is why the 3-tribe format in Survivor Philippines felt so refreshing at the time. It was breaking up years of the same format. Assuming Survivor 49 is also 3 starting tribes, we're nearing that same level of fatigue, just with 3 tribes instead of 2. Don't get me wrong, I like 3 tribes. In fact, I'd go as far to say I prefer 3 tribes. But I really think fans are ready to shake up the formula and get 2 tribes back into the mix every once in a while. And I think a fan vote would show a lot of excitement for the return of this classic formula. And if that happens and a 5-person male alliance dominates the entire game, don't be mad at me, please. Before we get to number 1, let's do some honorable mentions. I'm fairly confident we'll be able to vote on certain game events for Survivor 50, so let's put a tribe swap to a vote, let's put the auction to a vote, and let's put the loved one's visit to a vote. Personally, I'd vote yes on all 3 of these, but either way, a fan vote for these would be a good way for production to get a pulse on the popularity of these elements as they plan out the future of the show, and they could integrate them more or less into Survivor 51 and beyond as dictated by fans. I'd love for us to get input on as many aesthetic choices as possible, so I'd really like for us to be able to vote on what the immunity necklace looks like and what the tribal council set theme is. Also, let us vote on what hidden immunity idols look like. Legit, janky, or set dressing. And finally, I'd also be in favor of a vote for the return of the rites of passage. Jeff and I are both certified haters of this weepy space filler, but even I think it could be fun to see the designated bathroom break spot of early Survivor finales back one last time. Finally, let's close this out with something fun. My number one choice for what they should let the fans vote on for Survivor 50 is how Jeff delivers the votes back to America. I think most of us are assuming a live reunion will be voted in by fans, and I'm sure production is anticipating that too. So how will Jeff get the votes back to America? Boringly or excitingly? In the early seasons of the show, he brought the votes to America via some of the most dangerous means of transportation known to man: skydiving out of a plane, jet skiing across the ocean, New York City taxicab. These were peak early Survivor cheese, and even if you hated it, you actually secretly loved it. Don't lie to me. This was last done in Survivor Guatemala all the way back in 2005, and 20 years of technological advancement will give Jeff plenty of ways to update this for modern audiences. Let's see Jeff going 40 miles an hour down the street on a neon glowing one wheel. Maybe he can hop in a self-driving vehicle for a bit. Screw it. Throw him on a Blue Origin and send Jeff and those votes to space and back. The idea of bringing back the silly vote delivery is something Dalton Ross brought up to Jeff in a recent interview, and Jeff said the ridiculous vote delivery is, quote, a possible option and that it's definitely been on a list. So consider this my endorsement of moving it from list to reality. This has always been such a silly but fun way to conclude the season, and I'm confident that fans would bring it back. I mean, who could hate this? Got nothing else for ya. If you like this list more than Jeff loves his Final Four fire making, like and subscribe and I'll get you more Survivor content just like this. Until next time, don't get idled out.